Welcome back to another review of Magic the Gathering Precons. In this case, I do have some cards from this Precon already upgraded. I will list below in the description box which ones I have switched out. Some of them are very obvious that it will be not from the set. But there's some that's like, it came from Edge of Eternity set. Like this was not in the Precon, for an example. But we are going to be going over the World Shaper Edge of Eternity's Commander deck. I feel like I already said that. So we've got this Commander here. I decided to do a little sketch on it. Ignore that. But I know you guys are probably going to hate me. A lot of people like this card. I removed the second commander. I removed this card from the deck. I do not like dealing with this kind of stuff. Especially like, I don't know. It's a lot like a planeswalker vehicle in a way is how I see it. I'm not very big fan of that. I just want to get straight to the point of certain cards. So let's go through it. So this commander deck says it is Zarel, Flying, Insect Druid. For that much mana, not too bad. For what it does, you may play lands from your graveyard. Whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to this card's power, right there. Up to one other target creature. So what I like to do for this specific deck is try to put, upgrade this card as much as I can with other cards. That way I can boost other creatures for that amount of upgrading plus 2, because the power already starts with 2. Obviously we're going to be doing a lot of land sacking. So, and playing lands from our graveyard. I want to say I might have some other cards that say, hey, play creature card from graveyard, just so, because I know there's a tiny bit of milling in some of these cards here. So it's not, I feel like it's a pretty good complete Precon. It doesn't really need an upgrade. It's just me personally, there were like maybe 5 cards that I just didn't enjoy playing with and knew that I could just add some more of the rest of what was, and allowing the deck to do into it. So this is our commander that we're working with. It does come as a foil, hollow, whatever you want to name it. 2/5. And then let's go through this so you can kind of get straight into it as fast as we can. Last video was almost an hour long, so I want to kind of speed up this process. High Market. This is one that I just showed. I did not come in this Precon. Came from the same set. But as you can see, it gives you something here at a waste mana or whatever you want to call it. And I just replaced another, actually replaced the card that was just one pure waste. I'm not sure why there was a waste card in this deck. So I'm like, oh, well, I can just replace it. It still gives me a waste, but I also have the opportunity to sacrifice a creature to gain life. Which is going to help us with other cards, because other cards say sacrifice creature, do this. So we're sacrificing our creatures and milling a tiny bit, trying to play lands from our graveyard, trying to bring things out as fast as we can. This one was in here already, I believe. So regular land stuff, just like last time. I'm going to be going through it and just ignoring the lands. I'm just going to go through all the creatures here. Because I do not want to take up too much time going through basic lands that it already comes with. So let's go through like this here. Okay. So we've got Mayhem Devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any target. That's where things like sacrifice a creature goes into play. Deal 1 damage to any target. I guess my thing is dealing damage to people, just like the last video, Bello. Dealing a lot of damage, dealing double damage, comboing on top of it. But yeah, so deal a lot of damage. This deck doesn't do as much as what Bello does, but still a good balance here. We've got a dragon actually in here too, which was surprising to me. Has flying, which is great because we gotta have that some flying, some reach. When it enters our attack, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on this card, this dragon here, and draw a card. So remember, trying to sacrifice creatures, this case sacrificing a permanent, which would be great to just sacrifice a land because you can always bring a land back from your commander, or other cards that say bring back lands. We've got this creature here. When it enters, return target target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. So this is great too, because as soon as you enter this one, you know, a land you just sacked, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield automatically. It's not tapped or anything. And on top of that, whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard, 5/3 green creature token. That's awesome. Creature enters, you may sacrifice a land. There we go with lands again. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put onto battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. Sacrifice 1 land, bring out 2, bring back land from whichever card you want to do. You've got 3 lands for the price of 1. Evolving Door. I ended up adding this one specifically because there is a card in here that, or multiple cards in here that sometimes I just want to grab. If I haven't pulled it yet, gives me a chance. It also allows me to sacrifice creatures, so it continues the sacking thing. This is an instant, destroy, can't be regenerated, so that's good for against your opponents, or if you really need to sack something of yourself, from yourself. So this is a land. When this creature enters, you may discard 1 or more lands. When you do, return up to that many target non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. So, does what it does. Discard land, return non-land permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. You can return instants, you can return creatures, sorceries, artifacts, enchantments. So, nice. All for getting rid of land that you can just always bring back. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards. There's that milling. Sacrifice this creature. You can return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So this is great if you cannot, if you want to do a run where you don't want to bring cards from your graveyard, or you already have enough, but you have a ton still just sitting in your graveyard, and it's just, you need more, or you want more, or you know, you want to ping people for however many lands you have, gain life for however many lands you have. You can do this. Not too bad. It's a good blocker. Surprisingly, there is an Eldrazi in here. I was not expecting that either. So, the Void has no color, even though it's 6 and a green to bring it out, which is interesting. When you cast this spell, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. It has reach, which is great for a 5/7. You can also pay to sacrifice your land, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is great to just, if you need to sacrifice a permanent, Bam. There you go. Easy to bring it back. That's just a sorcery. Yeah. Another sorcery. Planetary Annihilation is in here, so that's pretty nice. That's a land. Sacrifice land, do other things because you sacrifice a land. Sacrifice a land to do other things. Destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls for a number of opponents that there are. Or any number of opponents. That's good. We've got Cat Avatar. This one I'm kind of iffy about. I haven't played it enough. When it enters or attacks, you may put a land card from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. So yeah, bringing that land back that you decided to sack. You can also discard a land to gain life, discard a land to draw a card, discard a land for this card to gain indestructible until end of turn, and you tap it. So sacrifice land, bring it back, you know, this has like all in one. This is one that does not come in here. You can see by the symbol there. I just wanted to do another sacrificing, allowing to, you know, -6 if it was kicked, because I sacrifice artifact or creature, which is fine because we can always bring things back. So that's why I added this one. World Soul Rage is in here. Centaur Vine Crasher has Trample. Creature enters the number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of land cards in all graveyards. Whenever a land card is put into a graveyard from anywhere, you may pay 2 green. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can always bring this card back as well. And that's where, you know, keeping a lot of lands in your graveyard would be great for this card. Boost it up a lot. See, that's a land. See, Insect Warrior. Whenever you sacrifice a non-token permanent, exile the top card of your library. During your turn, as long as you've sacrificed a non-token permanent this turn, you may play cards exiled with this creature. You can also tap to sacrifice a land to add mana. Basic stuff. Here's a 4 and it's a 10/10. Pay 4 for 10. That's wild, especially with this deck. It's gonna be easy to get a lot of lands out quickly. This creature enters tapped with 6 stun counters on it. So yeah, it's whenever it untaps, you remove a counter. When you sacrifice a land, create a 4/4 green beast creature token and untap this creature. So enters tapped, cool, but you can make a lot of tokens with this. Sacrifice land, gain 2 life. Lands. This is one from the Edge of Eternity set that I ended up replacing. This does not come in the Precon. We've got Reach and Trample. This card gets 1/1 for each land you control and each land card in your graveyard. So if you got a mixture, cool. Pay to return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand and return this card return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Huh? Sorry, I gotta reread that. What? Huh. Oh, I guess it's either or. I haven't figured that out. Let's see. Gain control of target artifact or creature. Cool. That comes in the Precon. I do enjoy that every once in a while, just taking somebody else's thing. Creatures you control have haste. Sacrifice land, create token. Create blank shapeshifter creature token. Changeling and Death Touch. X number of land cards in your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land in addition to paying its other costs. So that's nice. If it got milled, you can bring it out. Return target basic land card from your graveyard to your hand. So pay to bring it back, especially if you do this. You know, this one's play lands. This one, you just put it into your hand. So play additional land on each of your turns. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play lands from the top of your library. So that's really cool too, because at this point, for me, I don't care if other people see the top card in my library. People don't look whenever I play. So it just benefits me to keep that in there. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. There's another one of those. But this time it's not a creature, it's a sorcery. We've got this beast here. It's a reprint into Edge of Eternities. I have seen this one somewhere else before. I don't remember what set. But trample, landfall, create 4/4 green creature token whenever a land enters. So a lot of blockers are going to be tokens. And then you're just sacrificing lands and bringing things in. Artifact came with it. Land. Sorcery, this came with it as well. I'm only going to go for the creatures. This one did not come in this. I put this one in here. Exile target creature or planeswalker. You gain life equal to the number of counters on it. So that's great for if something has a lot of counters. That's why I added that one. Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. Whenever a land you control enters, if it is your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So that's great for having this already there. Being in your main phase, put down a land, have a second combat phase added to this, and then every time creature attacks, +1/+0. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on this. When this dies, it deals damage to its power to any target. My group likes to call this ticking time bomb, because technically it is. They made the mistake once of not getting rid of it immediately, and yeah, so now this is, as soon as you bring this out, at least for me, they try to target it immediately. So this might be a good distraction if they are not paying attention to you putting this out. Exile target player's graveyard. Land, creature. Lands you control enter untapped. Whenever you attack a player, create a lander token. So this is great for those that say enter tapped. Just play those right as soon as you bring this in. And you can create lander tokens whenever you attack. So cool. Creating those tokens still. We've got cultivate in here. That came in here. It's not added. Let's see. This one came in the Precon as well. Death Touch at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice this frog unless you sacrifice a land. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. That's not a bad price as long as, you know, you have enough lands for everything. Whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, you can draw a card. So free draw. You can keep him out for a bit. He has Death Touch. That's not too bad. Let's see, this one has a kicker, and when this creature enters, if it was kicked, you can search your library for a land card with a basic land type, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. You can also pay to sacrifice a land to draw a card. So that's not bad either. I'm saying that's not bad for a lot of things, but in this instance, paying to sacrifice a land, it really isn't bad. for what this deck does. There's another land. This was not in here. This is Mindslaver. I put it in here just to kind of have some fun with people. Let's see. This did not come in this deck either. Vigilance. A player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. You can also pay to add mana. Sorry, each player adds a specific amount of mana. Has Vigilance. I specifically put this one in here for somebody else's, to go against somebody else's deck, because they run a Omnoth. And sometimes it's really difficult to defeat them, so pull this card as a hack, and their unspent mana and makes them lose that much life, because they get to more than 100 unspent mana real fast when they bring Omnoth out. So braids, I ended up sketching little braids on them. This came in this deck. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent of their choice that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So there's a lot of combos in here. This one I pulled from the little pack that comes with the Precon. And I switched out with a different card because I liked this one a lot more. Tap to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It is a skeleton in addition and has no abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. So just in case I end up milling a creature card that has high attack and defense and want to bring it back, or I just really need that extra blocker. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any abilities. And skeleton doesn't really matter to me because there's no like skeleton stuff in here. I did keep this specific spacecraft because it's only a 1 green to take out. It should be easy to get to these numbers. The main thing is to play additional lands on each of your turn. So yeah, I don't really care too much about it being an actual spacecraft creature thing. I just wanted to play more lands. Here's Frog. Equal to the number of land cards in your graveyard. Beginning of your upkeep, surveil 1. Pay to sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. So continue to sack lands, gain 2 life. He gains a lot of attack power. When this creature enters, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard. Flying, whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands from the top of your library. As long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. So that's going to bring things out really fast, especially if you have the other card that says you can play lands from the top of your library. Play a land. If you have this out too, then you can play that creature. Play extra lands from the top of your library. Yeah. Blasphemous Act is in here. That's really helpful. This is a pretty strong deck. Some people said it's like tier 3, but on like Mono Box and stuff, it says it's only tier 1. I'm not sure. So here's a sorcery. Binding of the Old Gods. It's a saga. Destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Search your library for a forest card. Put them to battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And then also creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. So it's not too bad of a saga, which is why I kept it in here. I'm very picky with my sagas because they only last so long. Sorcery is Farseek. Instant did come in here as well. It's land, that's land, that's a land. Let's see. So I have to go through all this. There's a lot of land right there. Here's an enchantment. There's not a lot of enchantments and artifacts in here. It's mostly creatures and land. Enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature attacks, put target creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. At the beginning of your instep, sacrifice this aura unless a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was warped this turn. I'm not sure what warped is, but if we're going to be sacking stuff, this is a good aura to have. Take somebody else's creature. Let's see. From their graveyard. And it doesn't say to get rid of it, so I'm assuming you keep it until it dies. I'm not sure if it goes away if this aura goes away, but yeah, so that's a pretty interesting one if you've got the right cards for it. Flying, whenever you sacrifice a land, create a tap token that's a copy of this creature if 7 or more land cards are in your graveyard. Otherwise, create a tapped 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. So you can make a lot of black flying insects if you just continuously sack your lands and don't grab them from your graveyard. I mean, 7 or more, that's not bad. So as long as there's 7 in your graveyard, make copies of the swarm, make copies of the creature tokens, zombie god, menace. This one was interesting to see because it's a zombie, but most of these are insects. When this card enters, sacrifice any number of other permanents, then draw that many cards. When this card dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it into its owner's library 3rd from the top. So this one comes back. So that one's pretty nice as well, because it's just, you think, oh, it's died or oh, it's exiled, but it comes back 3rd from the top. That's nice. It's 5/6. And you can sacrifice any number of other permanents to draw cards. There was a soul ring in here. There is a loading zone. If one or more counters would be put on a creature, spacecraft, or planet you control, twice that many of each of those kinds of counters are put on it instead. You can also warp. So I guess that's where warp comes into play. I want to say I added this card to the deck, and that's why I was confused about the warp on the other card, because this is a new one I just got. So warp means you may cast this card from your hand for its warp cost. Exile this enchantment at the beginning of the next instep. Then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. Huh. That's pretty cool. Really boost the counters real quick. It exiles when you get enough land, you can bring it back. This one was also added to the deck. I gain 1 life for each land I control. This is wonderful if you have all your lands. I want to say I had counted, oh, I can actually count it right now, because that's all of those cards. It's almost a 1-to-1. Look at that. It's almost a 1-to-1. This is all lands. This is creatures, artifacts, enchantments, sorceries, instants. So So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 34, 35, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. So there's 40 land cards in here. Not all of them are basic lands, which are the ones where you can allows you to search and stuff. So those ones are going to be the easiest to bring out. And then also, I'm not going to count the ones with sacrifice. So let's see. This one also says sacrifice. This one says sacrifice, which these are great too because you can play these sacrificed ones from your graveyard. I especially like this one because you can search for any, and then you also gain a life. So little loop going right there. So let's see how many there are without the sacrificing ones. Before we move on, oh, this land I want to mention has a hatchling stuff. So you pay 1 life to add a block mana, and you can put a hatchling counter on this land. When this land is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, for each hatchling counter, create a 1/1 black insect creature token with flying. So boost this up, sack it for whatever reason you need to sack it, and yeah, there's combos. Great combos in here. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like there's 7 sacrificing lands in here. I'm not sure if I maybe added an extra one. And then there are, I'm going to separate the basic lands, because I'm really interested in how much life someone can actually gain if they took out all their land cards, because I had taken out all my basic lands on one of the games. So so the basic ones are going to be easiest to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 lands. I want to say that I for sure, like, I replaced like a swamp with a pretty swamp. But I want to say that I ended up adding an extra 1 or 2 basic land because it's easier to take out basic lands compared to lands entering tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So for sure 16 would be easy to take out. There's 17 of lands that aren't basic. I think that's 34 unless I miscounted. 34, 35. So gain 1 life for each land you control. If you have all your lands out, it's about 34 or 35. If you only have basic, it'd be 16 life that you would gain. If you don't have any basic and it's just these ones, it'd be 17. But yeah, there's just the way it's played. You can gain almost half your starting life back with this card. So that's why I added it. And it doesn't cost much to do this. And this is great for later on in the game when your opponents think that you're about to die and nope, you're back in the game. So let me know what you guys think of this deck. If there's any good upgrades that you guys like to put in, or if you like using the other commander and why. Yeah, I'm not sure how much this Precon goes for, but I hope you enjoyed going through what the Precon is, some of the upgrades that I decided to add to it, even though there's not a lot of upgrades. But I think it's a well-rounded deck without upgrades. It still works. I just wanted to have extra stuff for fun, you know, taking other people's creatures and stuff. But yeah, if you enjoy these kind of videos, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next video, whether that be gaming or another Magic the Gathering video going through precons. Okay, bye-bye.